more trips to really get a pulse on what's going on at this lake. Crazy. There we go. Okay. Finally got one.
There we go. Real slow out here, guys, and just trying to get some sort of an idea on what's going on out the lake. He's a little guy, but he's a bass. So I've been out here probably about a half hour. I've thrown some jigs, no bites. I threw an underspin, I lost it. Threw a crankbait shallow for a while, didn't get bit on that. So there's a little rocky point here, and I cast out, caught him pretty shallow, no more than say 8 or 10 feet. And what I'm throwing here is a NED RIG type bait. I took a half a Senko. I just cut them in half, and I'll use both ends. The reason I'm using a Senko is the bite's really tough out here, and I feel like because of how they make a Yamamoto Senko, the bass will hang on to it just that extra second or two so I can get that hook set. The other thing I'm using is I'm using a football jig head, okay? Because if I hit rocks or whatnot, I'm going to be able to kind of pop that through there, and when I'm dragging this in that mud, it'll kind of stand that bait up a little bit. And I'm using 10-pound test fluorocarbon. So medium action spinning rod, this is my setup. I bought these new Okuma spinning reels, and this is the first fish I've caught on it. I bought 2 of them, and really nice reels. I needed to switch reels. I was ready. My other ones were getting old and worn out. So I picked these up, and pretty nice reel, good drag system. So we'll see if I can get another one. So I've been out here probably about an hour and a half. And just a handful of little bites on this. Most of them, they're hitting the tail, which means they're really small. Was able to get one hooked. And this is definitely tough out here, and it has been for a while. So I'm gonna have to move around, and that's the biggest thing. I'm doing a lot of move around, just trying to find out if I can, you know, get around some active feeding bass, or a little school of them, maybe catch a couple of them. It didn't come out here with real lofty expectations. It's pretty tough and pretty slow out here right now, and I'm just gonna keep trying and see if I can get another one. We'll see what happens. There we go. He actually hit this really good. Fattened up. Look how light they are. So, tried another area over here, and that was the first bite I got. I switched heads. I was using that football head. I lost it. It was kind of heavy. I was getting caught in rocks, so I went to about an 1/8 ounce little Ned head, and I want it heavy because I'm kind of hovering around 25 feet, and he hit this really good. It was good to get a nice strike like that. There we go. I might have run across a little school, got 2 in a row there, right in the same spot. Just dragging this NED rig along. Hey, I'll take whatever I can get. Just a little bitty guy, and wind had kicked up pretty good on the main lake, and I was throwing some stuff that I thought would work good in the rain, or in the wind that is. It didn't work. So I know this NED rig has been working, so I got myself in an area here kind of out of the wind, and I'm going to go over this with you here in just a few minutes. Hey everybody, it's Dalton. I'm going to be wrapping it up out here in just a few minutes. Pretty tough bite. I did manage to catch a few. I really thought it was going to be a jig bite, so I had sort of a double jig set up. I'll show you. The first one here, both of these basically on 15-pound test. I got a half-ounce buckeye ball head jig with a little rage tail on there, or I think it's called it's a rage craw, about a 3-inch. And I used black and blue because this was what I wanted to use out in that 30, 40, 50 foot of water. We have some cloud cover, so that black would show up a little bit better. No takers though. The other jig setup I had was this little Z-Man structure jig, a little 3/8 ounce, kind of a bluegill color. I put a little Rage Menace on there, a little 3-inch Rage Menace. And using this for shallow water, anything up to say 10 feet. Fishing around rocks, has that, you know, kind of that archy shaped head, so you can get it through some of those rocks, but no takers. So today was the spinning rod, and it was a NED rig. Now the jig head that I worked when I first started throwing the NED rig was a little football head. It was a 1/4 ounce. I don't have any lighter. I'm gonna have to get some. I kept getting it hung up in the rocks, finally lost one, so I went down to about an 1/8 ounce, okay? I took a look at an 1/8 ounce little Z-Man jig head, and I took a green pumpkin, purple flake, Yamamoto Senko. And all I would do with that Senko is I just cut it directly in half, keep the other one in my other half in my pocket. And I used this because I felt like they were going to hang on to it a little bit longer, and they did. Now, the way I use this thing today, really simple. I would cast it out. I'd let it hit bottom. Now, here's one of the keys I think for me today on catching fish. I kept my boat today in 20 to 25 feet of water pretty much everywhere I fished. I caught them around 8 to 10 feet out to 20, 25 feet. Now, the one thing I know about spotted bass, no matter what time of year, somewhere on the lake you're going to find them at 20 to 25 feet. So I took this thing, I'd let it hit the bottom. I used about an 1/8 ounce. I wanted a little bit heavier one. And this is exactly how I used it all the way back to the boat. I would just twitch it real slow. No erratic movements, nothing. I'm just kind of twitching the slack along. It's just nudging it along the bottom. And this is the way I got my bites. It was a slow way of fishing, but it was the only thing I could do. And you know, that's what the NED rig is for as far as I'm concerned. When you're on a tough bite, you need a bite, throw a NED rig because you can catch a bass. He's not very big, but he took it. I felt him pull. Look at this guy. Look at this little guy. It doesn't matter what the size is. They'll go, this is the smallest one obviously I've caught today. I've had a bunch of them this size nip at it though. Boy, that's a giant, isn't it? But it just kind of gives you an idea of how I work this bait, how I got my bites, and the way I'm picturing this bait on the bottom is when I'm twitching this slack like this, it's just basically just nudging it along. And it probably looks like a little crawdad. So I was able to catch a few fish, had some fun. There's a tournament out here today. There's gonna be another one tomorrow. I'm gonna stay home tomorrow. I'll try to get back out here in another week. Hopefully the weatherman is true or right, because there's supposed to be a bunch of rain out here next week, and we really need some rain. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm just back out here trying to get things figured out in the winter bass fishing. Caught some fish today. Feel great about it. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you next time.